Hello and welcome as we continue this journey toward the first Sunday in Lent, February 21st, 2021. Today I would like to share with you the psalm that's coming up for this Sunday and then some reflections that I have gathered for the psalm. This is Psalm number 25, verses 1 through 10. To you, O Lord, I lift up my soul. My God, I put my trust in you. Let me not be put to shame, nor let my enemies triumph over me. Let none who look to you be put to shame. Rather, let those be put to shame who are treacherous. Show me your ways, O Lord, and teach me your paths. Lead me in your truth and teach me, for you are the God of my salvation. In you have I trusted all the day long. Remember, O Lord, your compassion and love, for they are from everlasting. Remember not the sins of my youth and my transgressions. Remember me according to your steadfast love, and for the sake of your goodness, O Lord. You are gracious and upright, O Lord. Therefore you teach sinners in your way. You lead the lowly in justice and teach the lowly your way. All your paths, O Lord, are steadfast love and faithfulness to those who keep your covenant and your testimonies. Here ends the psalm. There can be no doubt that the economy of the United States of America has suffered dramatically because of the COVID-19 pandemic. 793,000 Americans filed a new unemployment claim during the week ending February 6th, 2021. 793,000. Just 1 week. 4,545,000 Americans were drawing unemployment during the week ending January 30th, 2021. 4,545,000 people drawing unemployment. That does not count the numbers of Americans who are still out of work and have run out of unemployment benefits. That is an astronomical number to me. I can't even imagine that many people out of work. Today's psalm is not a response to a time when everything is going wonderfully in Israel. Today's psalm is a response of heartfelt trust in God, no matter the outward circumstances. These verses are a song of lament, if you will, and an expression of the trust that makes it possible to complain to God. The psalmist asks God for instruction on how to avoid shame, how to avoid disgrace, and then provides instruction for those who wait on the Lord. To you, O Lord, I lift my soul, the psalm declares in verse 1. And these simple words are a profound description of prayer. To lift up one's soul to God. It's kind of a shorthand for lifting up your hands in an outstretched position in prayer. And this gesture signifies holding up one's conscious identity, one's life, outstretched to God in complete dependence on God for God's help. To you, O Lord, I lift my soul. It's synonymous with, I put my trust in you, verse 2, and in you I have trusted all the day long, verse 5. To pray this psalm is to own and acknowledge our utter dependence on God. Psalm 25 links God's help and God's instruction or guidance. The two go together. They cannot be separated. One cannot ask for God's help without willingly following God's instruction and guidance. I can remember when I was young, maybe some of you can remember these times in your youth as well, and I found myself in a position having to ask my parents for help. You probably know what's coming. You maybe experienced it too. I knew the help was going to come, and it was going to come with instruction and guidance, which was not always something I wanted to hear. I wonder how often God's children go to God for help, yet do not really want to have to listen to the instruction and guidance. God, can't you just make this all go away? Do I really have to sit and listen to all this instruction and guidance? Today's psalm asks for both help and instruction. The soul lifted up to the Lord, set squarely on God, does not distinguish between saving power and God's teaching. In fact, the former, help, comes in and through the latter, instruction. To grow in God, or as the second part of our mission statement says, to grow in faith, is to be open to and eager for God's instruction. Imagine that, huh? Eager. Waking up in the morning, eager, thinking, I get to learn more about God. I get to grow in that relationship. Do you feel that way in the morning when you wake up? Today's psalm reminds us that God's instruction comes from prayer rather than from study like this. God's instruction comes from God, not from human wisdom or human teachers like this. Not that I'm saying I'm wise. Though it's helpful, reason and common sense, they're insufficient. To grow in God is to trust God enough to receive the help that comes with God's instruction. God teaches, as opposed to punishing or rejecting. God teaches sinners in God's way. Who's not a sinner? Raise your hand. I'm going to sit on mine right now. God teaches sinners in God's way. God leads the lowly in justice. All God's paths, which the psalmist has asked God to teach him in verse 4, are steadfast and faithfulness. We read in verse 10. Faced with waiting, surrounded by enemies who are treacherous and seek to put to shame, burdened by one's own sin, we can trust our gracious and upright God, whose ways are steadfast love and faithfulness. Growing in faith in God comes from actively trusting in God and eagerly longing for God's response. Thank you for joining me again today as we continue this journey toward the first Sunday in Lent, February 21st, 2021. I hope you're having a great day. Take care and God bless.